Have you ever lain in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every decision, every what if in your life? You are not alone. Overthinking isn't just a bad habit, it's a scientific phenomenon rooted deep in your brain. In this video, we'll explore why your brain refuses to shut off, the psychology and neuroscience behind overthinking, and most importantly, science-backed ways to stop it before it controls your life. Overthinking is more than thinking too much. Psychologists define it as repetitive, passive, negative thinking about situations that are past, present, or future. While reflection is constructive and helps you learn from experiences, rumination traps you in endless loops without producing solutions. Many overthinkers are perfectionists who crave control, trying to predict every outcome and avoid mistakes at all costs. Ironically, this constant mental activity often increases stress and reduces performance. Overthinking is also strongly linked to social anxiety, where the brain imagines how others perceive you, amplifying fears of judgment and rejection. Overthinking is not a personal flaw, it's a brain-based phenomenon. The prefrontal cortex, which handles planning, decision-making, and reasoning, often becomes hyperactive in overthinkers, constantly simulating scenarios and weighing outcomes. This hyperactivity leads to decision fatigue and mental exhaustion. At the same time, the default mode network, DMN, a network in the brain that becomes active when the mind is idle, triggers self-referential thoughts, regrets, and hypothetical worries, explaining why your mind races even when you're trying to relax. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine also play a role. Low serotonin makes it harder to calm repetitive thoughts, while dopamine drives the brain to seek answers but never finds closure. On top of this, the amygdala responsible for processing fear reacts to uncertainty, turning minor decisions into perceived threats, which explains why overthinking feels emotionally draining. So, how do you know if you overthink? Common signs include constantly second-guessing decisions, difficulty sleeping due to replaying past events, reliving conversations repeatedly, experiencing social anxiety or fear of judgment, and struggling to take action because of analysis paralysis. If these sound familiar, you're not lazy or weak. Your brain is simply wired to overanalyze, and that wiring can be changed. Overthinking feels so real because imagined scenarios activate the same neural pathways as real events. Stress hormones, like cortisol, are released, creating mental and physical exhaustion. Psychologists refer to this as emotional simulation, which can be helpful if controlled, but harmful when it spirals into rumination loops. Why do we overthink in the first place? Several psychological factors contribute. Fear of failure keeps the brain looping, trying to avoid mistakes. The need for control drives overthinking to give the illusion of certainty. Perfectionism fuels constant mental checks with impossible standards. Low self-esteem triggers obsessive thoughts, often focused on self-doubt, while past trauma or negative experiences create hyper-alert neural pathways, making the brain scan for threats constantly. While thinking critically is useful, overthinking has real consequences: emotional exhaustion, decision paralysis, strained relationships, and reduced productivity. Fortunately, there are science-backed ways to stop overthinking. Cognitive reframing helps challenge negative thoughts, turning "I always fail" into "I can learn from mistakes." Journaling externalizes thoughts, reducing internal loops and clarifying which worries are real versus imagined. Mindfulness and meditation train the brain to observe thoughts without judgment, calming the DMN. Setting time-limited decisions such as giving yourself 10 minutes for minor choices reduces overanalyzing and builds confidence. Finally, shifting from what-if thinking to action-oriented thinking, asking, "What can I do?" helps move your brain from rumination to solutions. Additional strategies include physical activity, which reduces cortisol and clears mental clutter, and digital detoxes to limit social media triggers that feed rumination. Sleep hygiene is critical, as quality sleep improves prefrontal cortex function. Setting boundaries for when and how long you allow yourself to ruminate, and talking to someone, whether a friend or professional, provides perspective and prevents mental spirals. Overthinking is not a weakness, it's a sign of awareness and intelligence. The key is to guide your thoughts instead of letting them control you, recognizing when your mind is caught in loops and gently redirecting it. Ultimately, your brain wants to protect you, but overthinking is like a security system that is too sensitive, triggering alarms for everything and creating anxiety, stress, and fatigue. By understanding the science behind it, practicing mindfulness, reframing your thoughts, and taking actionable steps, you can break free from mental loops and regain clarity, peace, and confidence. Remember, overthinking does not define you. How you respond to it does. Your mind can be your greatest ally once you learn how to master it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who constantly overthinks. With the right approach, you can transform overthinking from a trap into a tool for insight, reflection, and growth.